Ask Raven, the wise one listens and answers with song, from cedar shadows where old truths belong. Ask Raven, I circle where memories stay, where oceans keep count of the lives they waylay. I hovered high o'er winter sea, where daylight thins reluctantly. Not night, not noon, pallid gray, the North Sea dressed for Boxing Day. Below, no wreaths, no fireside cheer, no softened edge of closing year. The water wore its iron face, a ledger ruled in wind and space. Humans named the day with care, a pause from feast, a breath of air. What seas kept note, such numbered days, they count by loss, by drift, by stays. For water marks no holiday, nor bows to rest, or steps away. It only asks, with patient cold, how long before you lose your hold. Fishing vessel cut the swell. No mythic quest, no sailor spell, just hands at work, just nets and steel, just trust in things that turn and wheel. Then silence fell, no crash, no flame, no thunder calling out its name. The engine stilled, the vessel sighed, power slipped like falling tide. Oh, hear the hush, when engines cease, and sudden traitorous, false peace. For silence speaks, at sea most loud, truth no prayer can ever cloud. The wind leaned close, the cold drew near, deck grew slick with frozen fear. A drifting hull, a narrowing choice, the ocean clearing now its voice. I watched their hands, precise restrained, their breath in clouds, their focus strained. No wasted words, no frantic cry. A sailor's calm is learned, not sly. They tested this, adjusted that, but winter brooks no second act. For time once lost will not return, and steel grows brittle where waves burn. Cold crept inward inch by inch, a thief that robs without a flinch. Till thought itself bends carefully. Sea did not storm, nor shove, simply waited, patient, rough, and waiting in its oldest art. It hollows will before the heart. At last the call cut through the air, a human truth laid cold and bare. We drift, we fade, we cannot stay. We need the shore, we need you, pray. The Mayday is not screamed in fright, it's spoken plain with practiced might. Not plea, nor curse, nor bargain sworn, just fact, like day, admits to mourn. Far off, where land lay dry and still, where cups were warm and plates sat filled, a table paused, a voice cut short, as duty found its living port. For pagers sound and phones will ring, and pull men from the gentlest thing, from shared retreat, from laughter's spell, into the teeth of frozen hell. They rose not bold, not blind, nor keen, but knowing what such silence mean. For sailors hear the engines die, see their younger selves pass by. RNLI, not wage, nor claim, not depth, but oath. No search for fame, just practiced hands and winter eyes, and will that does not dramatize. The lifeboat struck the waiting swell, not launched so much as hurled pell-mell. Sea objected, struck, denied, yet still that vessel would not slide. Above them churred another test, a helicopter's hovering quest. The air itself refused to stay, but held because it had to pray. I watched from high where patrons formed, A rescue reads like script, not storm. A chaos neat, trained intent, each motion learned, each second spent. They reached the hull that drifted slow, to worlds that rocked but would not go. Between them yawned a breathing sea, a place where endings like to dream. Lines were cast, hands met the rope, cold made the simplest act a hope. The sea shook decks like dice in play, and asked again, who stays, who may. Then came the crossing, step by step, balance carved from depth and depth. No grand speech marked the danger there, just breath and grip and frozen stare. Each man who crossed that shifting span carried the weight of other man, of waiting chairs and cooling plates, of names still safe beyond the gates. If foot should slip, the sea would take no oath, no sorrow in its wake. If hand held fast, if timing fit, the sea would note, tolerate it. And in that hour, sharp and thin, I felt the ledger held to gain. For seas know when resolve is set, human's will not loosened yet. The waves still rose, the cold still bit, but work resumed, for death had quit. Not mercy, no, the sea knows none, just passage granted, briefly won. At last the final crossing made, count complete, the balance stayed. No cheer rang out, no triumph shown, just quiet breath and warmth postponed. Return was hard, passage rude, yet possible, and that's the good for when their victory is small. To live at all, to rise, to call. On shore the feast lay long forgot, no grievance held for cooling pot. Where doors once closed were opened wide, voices crossed the threshold side. Thus Boxing Day, the ledger marked, not gift nor rest nor candle sparked, but this, that when the sea reached in, human hands refused to thin. Remember this when storms feel near, or silence whisper in your ear. Sea counts moments, not your prayers, but still a lead leads to those who dare. Not loudly fight, nor curse the deep, but stand together. Grip and keep their place upon the wavering line, till breath returns, till lives align. I circle still as light grows spare, the North Sea working unaware. It does not smile, nor mourn, nor bless. It only writes what humans guess. And in its book that day is drawn. All souls returned, the sea outdone. What you forget, bravery remembers, through fire and ember.